Hello friends, today in this video we will learn how to install Docker Toolbox on Windows and its related concepts like how it works and what is the need for the Docker Toolbox. And what is Docker Toolbox basically. I'm just on the Google homepage and just I will type here install Docker for Windows, and I will go to the first link, which is Docker official page, which is telling us how to install Docker Toolbox on Windows. So they are guiding very clearly, and the first thing they are saying is check your basically version. Your machine should be 64-bit operating system machine and Windows 7 or higher. Your machine should be Windows 7 or higher, and it should be 64-bit operating system, not a 32-bit. So this is the first condition prerequisite which is required before installing Docker Toolbox on Windows. If your machine does not satisfy it, Docker Toolbox will not work. And the second condition is you need to check if your you need to check whether virtualization is enabled in your machine or not. So Windows system supports virtualization hardware technology, and that virtualization should be enabled. So if you are using Windows 8, they have given the screenshots how to check it. You have to go to the start task manager and then performance tab and then the CPU, and then you will see here virtualization enabled. If it is enabled, then the two conditions which are required for Docker Toolbox to get installed on a machine are satisfied. Now for Windows 7 user, how to check this virtualization thing whether it is enabled or not. They have given this hyperlink. Run this link. You will click on this link and you will be redirected to again to a different page where the download button will come. You have to download this tool basically, which will check whether your virtualization is there in your machine or not. And we will click on the first checkbox and we will download this software. So I will download on the desktop, and as it got downloaded, I will just double click and I will. So this is the basically exe file we just downloaded, and I will just double click on this link and I will click on run. Yes, and here it is saying this computer is configured with hardware assisted virtualization. So for Windows, if you are getting this box, then it means for your machine, if you are using Windows 7, your virtualization is enabled. So you are like your both the conditions, both the prerequisites for Docker Toolbox to get installed on your machine are satisfied. The first condition is Windows 7 or higher, and it should be 64-bit. And your second condition is Windows system hardware virtualization technology should be enabled. And now we will move down, and now we will proceed with the download of the Docker Toolbox. So we will just click on the this hyperlink, go to the Docker Toolbox page. When we will click on this hyperlink, it will again open a new page. Here you can see the two buttons, basically one for Mac and one for Windows. So this is Windows machine, so I will click on this button for Windows. And so Docker Toolbox.exe, it will get download. I am downloading it on the desktop again. It will take some time, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. So let us wait for it to get download. Okay, so it got downloaded, and I will go to this exe, Docker Toolbox.exe. So this is the exe which got downloaded just now, and I will just double click on this exe file. So I will again click on run. Yes, and then I will click on the, you can check or uncheck this box, it doesn't matter. I'm unchecking it. You will click on next, and here is the location where your Docker Toolbox will get installed. C program files, Docker Toolbox. I will click on next, and Docker Toolbox comes with set of softwares inside it. So basically Toolbox, like the name itself says, that box of tools. So basically a suitcase which contains some tools inside this. So basically these are the tools: Docker client for Windows, Docker machine for Windows, Docker compose for Windows, VirtualBox, Containerization, and then Git for Windows. So Git I am already having, but it doesn't need it also for Docker to get understanding on Docker. So I will just click on next, and then again I will click on next, and I will just install this software. So friends, you might have got understanding what is Docker Toolbox also during installation. That Docker Toolbox is a set of tools which are required to run Docker successfully on Windows machine. So friends, all you might already be knowing that Docker concept came with the Linux operating system. So Docker is a containerization concept, and it came with the Linux operating system. So to facilitate it working successfully on Windows, the Docker team has provided some set of tools in a bunch of package which is nothing but Docker Toolbox. One thing you might have noticed, that there was one software which was Oracle VirtualBox, which is coming as a part of Docker Toolbox. So VirtualBox is required to run any VM on this machine. So Docker, how Docker Toolbox works is, Oracle VirtualBox will run the Linux VM in this machine, and in that Linux VM our Docker containers will run. So basically Docker containers will run on Linux only, but indirectly we are using Windows operating system. So again and again it is asking for install. So 3 or 4 times I think it will ask. So after installation I will show you also that I will also show you that where is the VM, and okay, so it got installed, and I will just click finish. And then again, if you will go to the Docker installation page, right, the web page, they will say how to confirm that whether your Docker is installed or not, Docker Toolbox. You just need to check these three icons on your desktop. So if we will go, we will see these three icons. One is Docker Quick Start Terminal, one is Kitematic, and the third one is Oracle Virtual Box. So friends, this is the thing I was talking of. So the Docker Toolbox is comprises of this Oracle Virtual Box. If you will open this Virtual Box, it will contain one Linux VM in which our containers will run. So you can see that this is the Linux VM where our containers will run, and I will close this, and this is basically the Docker Quick Start Terminal. So I will double click on this Quick Start Terminal. So this is basically a command line interface to talk to that VM and run our Docker commands. So I have just double clicked on this VM, on this on this Quick Start Terminal. So it will take some time to bootstrap the things, because internally it is starting the virtual box and creating a virtual network, and it will do all the steps which are required to uh, initiate a VM in the Oracle Virtual Box. So may take some 10-15 seconds more. So now it is searching for IP and it is saying waiting for IP to be assigned to the virtual machine which is getting initiated. So friends, I hope you are getting the things right. So this is my basically the base machine. Inside this base machine, Oracle VM, Oracle Virtual Box is running, and Oracle Virtual Box is a software which helps us to initialize or start any VM. So basically on any VM with the image. So basically with the help of Oracle Virtual Box, we are initiating a Linux VM on this Windows machine. So this base machine is Windows. On this machine, Linux VM will get start, and in that Linux VM, we will run our Docker containers. So as you can see that Linux VM has got started, and it has been assigned an IP of 192.168.99.100. This is an IP of the Linux machine in which we will run our Docker command. So friends, this command line terminal is a bit similar to Linux. If you will do ls, you will see like Linux commands. Some Linux commands are like giving outputs, and little bit same to Windows. So cd will be working as it is working in the Windows command prompt. So friends, with this our Docker toolbox for Windows is installed in our Windows machine, and we are work on ready to start our work on Docker. So so if I will run like docker hyphen version, it will give me the version. Okay, docker hyphen version, it is giving me the version of the Docker which is running on this machine. So now if you will run docker images, so now there is no images in this in this VM. So it is not showing any image. If we want to download any image, if we want to run any image, we can say docker run and busy box. So as we can see, now it is unable to find image locally, not found, does not exist, or no pull access. So we will see docker run busy box. So yes friend, I was typing the name of the image wrongly. So docker run busy box. So now you can see that busy box image is downloaded in our machine, and if we will do docker images again, this busy box came from the Docker hub to our local machine. Local machine means the VM which is running on this base operating system, the Linux VM. So now if we want to run this image, docker run. Okay, so we have already run this image. So we are typing the command docker run busybox, which is downloading the image, and as well as it is starting the container with this image docker ps -a. So we can see one container started and stopped 48 seconds ago with this container ID. So friends, if you are very new to the Docker, and if you are not able to understand what is Docker image, what is containers, so don't worry, I will cover in this my upcoming videos. But the main motive of this video is to install the Docker toolbox on Windows, so that you can like initial environment of the Docker could be set up in your Windows machine. Okay friends, so this is all about my Docker first tutorial. I hope you will like it. Thank you.